You can use the PMT function to figure out the monthly payments. This time, I'll type the formula directly into the spreadsheet. I'll type my equal sign to start the formula and then start to type PMT. Formula autocomplete lists the function. I'll double-click the function to get it into the formula. This helps prevent any misspellings of function names and enters the opening parenthesis of the formula for you. The screen tip here tells me all the arguments for the formula. Notice the arguments in brackets, FV, and type. The brackets indicate that these are optional arguments. The first argument is rate, which is 5% divided by 12, the number of months in a year. I'll type a comma to separate the rate argument from the next, which is NPER, the total number of payments for the loan. I'll enter 30 for a 30-year loan, multiplied by 12, because there will be 12 monthly payments per year. I'll enter a comma to separate the arguments, and the final argument I'll enter is PV, $180,000, the present value of the home. Finally, I'll enter my closing parenthesis. The monthly payment would be $966.28. To find the function to use, I'll click the Formulas tab on the ribbon, and then click Insert Function. In the Search for a Function box, I'll type Monthly Payments and then click Go. I'll click PV, the first function in the list, which returns the present value of an investment. Then I'll click OK. In the Rate box, I'll type 5% divided by 12. In the Number of Payments box, NPER, I'll type 30 times 12. And in the payment box, I'll type the mortgage payment I can afford to pay each month, less insurance and taxes. Since this is a payment, I'll put a negative sign in front of the 800. Then I'll click OK. The house I can afford to buy costs just a little over $149,000. You earn an annual interest rate of 1.5% and are starting from a zero balance in the account. You can use the PMT function to find out how much to save. I'll type the formula directly in the spreadsheet by starting with my equal sign. Then I'll begin to type PMT. Formula autocomplete offers the function, and I'll double-click it to get it into the formula. The function arguments are here in the screen tip. First, I'll enter the rate argument, which is 1.5% divided by 12, followed by a comma to separate the argument from the next. The NPER argument, total number of payments, which is 3 times 12. I'll enter a comma and then enter the PV, or present value argument, which is 0. I'll enter a comma and then enter the FV argument, future value, which is 8,500. Then I'll enter my closing parentheses and press enter. You would need to save $230.99 every month for 3 years. I'll use the PV function, which will calculate the starting deposit that will yield a future value. I'll type an equal sign in the spreadsheet and then type PV. I'll double-click PV and Formula Autocomplete to enter the function and parenthesis into the formula. The first argument here is rate, which is 1.5% divided by 12. I'll enter a comma to separate the argument, which is NPER, number of payments, and that's 3 times 12 followed by a comma. Next, my PMT, which has a negative sign for a payment, minus 175 followed by another comma. And finally, the future value of 8,500. I'll type my closing parenthesis and then press enter. I would need to deposit $1,969.62 in order to pay $175 a month and end up with $8,500 in 3 years. You don't want the monthly payments to be more than $350, so you need to figure out your down payment. Once again, I'll use the PV function, which figures out the starting deposit that will yield a future value. In this example, the result of the PV function is the loan amount, which is then subtracted from the purchase price to find the down payment. So I'll begin this formula a little differently. I'll type the equal sign followed by 19,000 minus PV. I'll double-click PV to get it into the formula, and my arguments are in the screen tip. The rate is 2.9% divided by 12, followed by a comma. The NPER, or number of payments, is 3 times 12 for the 3-year payment period you want, and the PMT argument is entered as minus 350. I'll enter my closing parenthesis and press enter. Your down payment would be $6,946.48. The question is, how long will it take you to pay off the loan? To find out, I'll use the NPER function, which calculates the number of payments using regular identical payments with an unchanging interest rate. I'll type my equal sign followed by NPER. I'll double-click the function to get it into the formula. The first argument is rate, which is 3% divided by 12, followed by a comma. The PMT argument is minus 150, followed by a comma, and the PV, present value, is 2,500. I'll type my closing parentheses and then press enter. It would take 17 months and some days to pay off the loan. Because it's more than 17 months, you'll want to round up to 18 months. Use the PMT function to find your monthly payment for an 18-month term. I'll type my equal sign and then PMT, double-click Formula Autocomplete as usual to let it enter the function in the parenthesis for me. I'll enter the rate of 3% divided by 12 and enter a comma to separate the arguments. The number of payments is 18, then a comma, and the present value of the loan is 2,500. I'll type a closing parenthesis and press enter, and I'll end up with 18 payments of $142.21 per month, and you were to deposit $200 a month at an annual rate of 1.5% interest. I'll use the FV function to calculate the future value of the investment. I'll start with my equal sign, start typing FV, and let Formula Autocomplete enter the function for me. My first argument is rate, which is 1.5% divided by 12, followed by a comma. The next argument is NPER, or number of payments, that's 10, followed by a comma. The PMT argument is next, which is minus 200, followed by a comma. The PV, present value argument, is the $500 already in account, and that's entered as minus 500, followed by a closing parenthesis. In 10 months, you would have $2,517.57 in your savings account.